Hi everyone, I'm Carol Keller, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Illinois in the United States, and I'm here for my usual Tuesday Live. Thanks to those of you who are joining me live, and if you are here watching live, please say hi in the comments. If you are watching on replay, thank you for that too. I am going to feature a couple of different things from our celebration catalog today before they disappear. Just another week left, I can't believe it, one more week of celebration and that's it. So you got to take advantage now while you can. One is a stamp set that's a host reward, and one is a package of pattern paper that I haven't used much, so it was fun to use it today. Excuse me. So I am going to turn my camera around right away so that we can get started. So if you get dizzy, just close your eyes for a minute while I set up. Here we go. This is always the fun part. You get a quick glimpse of my messy desk. And let's see, and then we need usually a minute or two to set up. Oh, not too bad today, I think. And I'm going to pull myself up too and make sure I'm live and in the right place. And if I am, we will get rolling here, which I think I am. Yep, and that setup looks good. Okay, so we'll turn the light on and get rolling. Kind of cloudy and gloomy today, so we need all the light we can get. This is the card that I designed for today. So this is that wonderful pattern paper I was mentioning. It's called Favored Flowers, I believe. Let me double check that. Let me see. Yes, Favored Flowers. And it's a celebration offering, so for every $50 you spend, you could earn that, and you can earn as many celebration items as you would like. And then the stamps, this stamp comes from that stamp set that's the host offering, which is called Scenic Garden. And then the sentiments come from Sending Support, which is another celebration item too that you can earn for $50. So, all right, let's get rolling here. And we are starting this time with a fresh Freesia card base. Most of the time I start with basic white, as you know, but I like to change it up, and especially I like to use the light colors, because the reason I use basic white most of the time is if I have a dark color like that rich raspberry, you need to put white on the inside so that you can write on it, but with a lighter color you can write without adding the white. So let's get rolling here. So I've already cut my pattern paper, and it is 1.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And so that's just going to go right toward the edge. And I don't know that there's necessarily a right side, so we'll put it this way, I guess. And I'm going to use my multi-purpose liquid glue for that, just because it goes the whole length of the card. So I want to make sure I have it lined up. So we'll start with that. And pop that right on. And line it up. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks good. And we'll move that aside so it can dry. And now I have a piece of basic white, and I forgot the measurements, so let me grab my ruler here. It is 2.5, I think, by 4. 2 3/4 by 4. So, and I've made a mat for it, which is 3 inches then by 4 1/4 inches. So we'll move that up here for now too, and we'll do some stamping. So I've got that beautiful garden scene from the Scenic Garden set, and I'm going to bring in my Memento black ink pad. All right, Monica's watching. Thanks, Monica, and it's telling me my live video has ended, but I know it hasn't, so I'm just going to keep going and hope that I can see comments. All right, so we've got our Memento black. And I think it may need re-inking, so I'm just going to make sure I have a good covering of ink there. And then we're just going to stamp it toward the bottom, so we leave room for a sentiment. And then the next thing I did was color it in. So I've got my Stampin' Right markers, and I'm not going to color the whole thing because it will take too long, but I'll show you what I did. I actually started with the gate, and for that I used my light soft suede blend. And I think you can use either end, but I'm using the kind of the writing pointy end just because I want to make sure I stay in the lines. But I did do one and I used the brush end, and that was okay. You just have to be a little bit more careful. So we're just gonna color in each of those boards and then the boards behind. And for the path, I used my dark and my light smoky slate, and I started from the bottom. So I just decided, and I did one color first. I did the dark one first. And in some ways you can, it's not very defined, so you can kind of decide where you want the bricks or the stones here to end. And so I just alternated. So like here, I did it this way. I added to it a little bit and so on. And then I went back and I took my light smoky slate and then just kind of went in between like that until I did the whole thing. For the flowers, I took the colors from that designer series paper. So I've got, for the leaves, I used light evening evergreen. On the first one, which I think was this one, I used dark evening evergreen on the outside ones and light evening evergreen on the inside ones, but I think it's hard to tell. So I just used the light. And again, I'm not going to color everything, but I colored in the leaves and I went over the little grass areas and stems and whatnot. And then for the flowers, I used on the outside one, the dark Calypso coral, because I wanted to bring in all of the colors. If you wanted to, you could just pick your favorite one and do that. And I did, for the centers, I used the light Calypso coral, but you can't even really tell. So if you wanted to, you could just color it in, or if you really wanted to, you could use the light for the outside and use the dark for the inside, and then it would probably show a little bit, but it still might not. The flowers are pretty small. Then for the middle ones, I did my dark fresh freesia. We'll bring that in for some of the middle flowers. And the same thing, I'm going to come back in for the center with the light fresh freesia. And then for these flowers, I used the dark rich razzleberry. And I debated using the light, but excuse me, I decided I like the contrast with the dark. And note, and I did not notice this the first time when I did the first card, which is this one, I didn't notice this, but there is actually right here, that's a little butterfly. And this may also be a butterfly. I think they are, and this one right here. So I think there are 3 on there, 3 butterflies. But honestly, you could color them in as flowers. No one would know the difference, but it looks like little antennas that let you know that those are butterflies. So if you wanted to, you could color those in a contrasting color. And so I did the same thing on both sides. I just balanced with the Calypso coral on the outside, fresh freesia in the middle, and then dark Blackberry Bliss. Did I say rich razzleberry? It's Blackberry Bliss on the inside. So when you're finished coloring it in, it looks like this. And now we're going to stamp our sentiments. So I've got the one for the outside that again comes from Sending Support. And I did stamp that in Blackberry Bliss. Oh, good. Got several people watching. That makes me happy. Hello, everyone. And I'm glad you like the card and the colors. We'll stamp that. And then for the inside, this says there are so many ways you might feel right now. And then for the inside, it says alone shouldn't be one of them. And so I liked that. I like the way they paired together, and there are several like that in the set. So we're going to do this, and I know it looks crooked, but that's because if I look on the back, it looks pretty straight on the bottom, so I adjusted for that. And then one last thing, I'm going to bring in a little scrap because we're going to stamp off the edge here. And I have this stamp from the Scenic Garden set. So we'll ink that up, and I'm going to stamp it here. Make sure there's enough on there, like that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the envelope. So that's how we're going to decorate the envelope. So I'll grab one of those because you can't have a naked envelope. And our stamping is complete. So we'll move these out of the way. And now we just have to finish putting it together. So it's a quick one, except for the coloring, because that definitely takes some time. So we're moving and grooving, putting the rest of it together, but the coloring does take a few minutes. And so now before I put this on, I'm going to grab my fresh Freesia open weave ribbon. And I just wanted to sort of bling it up. So I'm just going to put it toward the bottom. So I've got my glue dots for that. Barb says, I just got on your fast today. I know, like I was saying, the coloring is what takes all the time, but putting it together is pretty quick. So, and you know, you could color while you're watching television or doing something else, and then it really goes fast when you're putting it together. And we've got another glue dot. And then what I did, I created kind of a faux bow by just taking the ribbon again and feeding it underneath like that, and then tying a knot. So it gives you sort of the idea of a bow without actually having to tie one, because I know a lot of people kind of shy away from that. So let's get that little piece in there. Come on. The pressure of alive. Here it comes, I think. Yeah. So that's it. Just tie a little knot. And then I'm going to grab my paper snips again and pretty up the end. And we'll trim the other end just a little bit too. And now we will put these together with some Stampin' Seal. Get that started there. And I always put the seal over the ribbon just to help it adhere that much more. And center it on the mat. And I didn't bump it up with dimensionals, but you could. I think I'm just going to use my seal just because it's handy, but you could bump it up with dimensionals if you wanted to. And I sort of centered it around these three sides. So hopefully that's good. And then last but not least, our bling, which I'm using the opaque adhesive backed gems, and obviously in the fresh Freesia. So I'm going to grab my take your pick tool for that. And there are 3 sizes, but I used the 2 smaller ones because I wanted to add just a little bit to it. As I thought about using, we have the pastel pearls, which would work too, but I wanted something smaller. Those are a little bigger. And one of these over here. Draw your eye around the card. And yep, Barb, it's a quick one today because it is complete already. What do you think? Pretty paper. Let me show you what I used to make the cards. So here are the stamp sets. That Scenic Garden one, that, like I said, is the host one. So if you have a qualifying workshop or order, then you would earn this for free, and that would be at the $300 level. And then Sending Support, is the stamp set. So again, there are some that pair to others that pair together. Some days are harder than others. Hope today is one of the easier ones. It's okay not to feel okay. Here for you always. I think they just pair nicely together. So those are the stamp sets. And then of course I got to show you the paper, the Favored Flowers paper. Love that because you know I'm a purple girl. But I do like the way it pairs with the Calypso Coral that we used today. And this is Petal Pink, so several colors in there. And there's Blackberry Bliss kind of for the outline more, and then Fresh Freesia. So pretty. And a little busy, but then on the other side you've got some companion patterns that will kind of tone it down a little bit if that's what you would like to do. But pretty papers. So again, as far as I know, everything's available. I haven't looked recently, but I think they're all still available. But celebration ends in 1 week. So not only should you place an order if you are wanting to earn some of those free items in the next week, do it in the next week. But remember too, there's a fantastic join special. So if you join my team, you can do so for $99 and you get to choose $175 in free merchandise or in merchandise from the catalogs, either of the catalogs. And you also get a paper pumpkin kit, you get catalogs, you get business supplies if you need them, but you get to choose. So it's the best, by far the best deal in the catalog. And with Celebration, there's an add-on of the adorable boho blue mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Let me pull that in so you can see it too, since I have it handy. This adorable little machine in such a pretty color, and it just opens and you use it like this, and then when you're done, close it up to travel. I love it. And it does, excuse me, it does come with the plates you need for embossing and for die cutting. And if the dies in any set fit in that, there's a little symbol in the catalogs that tell you that. So great join special, great. Obviously, Celebration is always great for placing orders because you can earn free stuff. So reach out and let me know. I have a host code going. So if you want to use that, just let me know. If your order is $150 or more, do not use the host code. You take those host rewards for yourself. More free stuff. We love that. All right, take care, everyone. I'm going to be working on some paper pumpkin alternatives. My kit finally came today, and honestly, I haven't even opened it yet, but I'm dying to. So hopefully by the weekend, I will have a video with some paper pumpkin alternative cards for that kit. So stay tuned for that, and keep watching, and happy stamping. Take care, everyone.